All right, all right. Thanks to those joining me live and to those that will be joining me on archive. Let's check it out. And this is including me, by the way, but the internet has been relentless on Ronda Rousey, all right? The internet has been consistently relentless on Ronda Rousey. You know, there are people out there in whether it's specific MMA gyms, right? Specific trainers that would love. So I want everybody to listen to this, okay? They will love nothing more but to train Ronda Rousey, help her get back on her feet, right? And start a redemption story, right? There are trainers out there that will do everything in their power to help Ronda Rousey become a better mixed martial artist. Those trainers are out there. They will try. They will extend a hand. But it starts with the person, man. It does. There's two problems specifically that Ronda Rousey has. Problem number one, which is the biggest problem, it's the biggest obstacle, is as right now, her spirit is shattered, right? You ever hear that song from the Rocky movie? And yes, I'm going with that, but I forgot the name of the song, right? But the lyric in the song goes, when the body says stop, oh no, in the warrior's code there is no surrender. When the body says stop, the spirit cries never, right? And I always thought, that's such a brilliant line, especially for combat sports. Right now, her spirit is broken. All right, her world is shattered. And that's because she lived in an illusion that was perceived as reality for a long time, right? So what am I talking about? I'm talking about her surroundings, the people around her that for whatever reason did a very good job of getting in her head, and not just in her camp, but the UFC itself, Dana White himself, even Joe Rogan was drinking the Kool-Aid. Everybody was drinking the Kool-Aid. There's a lot of people on here that talk MMA that were drinking the Kool-Aid, talking nonsense, filling up her head with you could beat up men, and we don't even know if a woman will ever beat her. We might have to put her in the octagon with some guys, and stuff like that. All that was tongue-in-cheek talk, but for whatever reason, Ronda Rousey started to believe it. Now you may say, "What? No, she didn't really, did she?" Well, let's say she didn't believe that. She did believe the whole, I could go to boxing, I could become a world champion boxer if I want. And that came from her trainer. All right? Now, I'm sure her trainer's not I don't know the guy. I don't know if he's a bad person or not. I have no idea, right? What I do know is that if he does consider himself a friend of Ronda Rousey, right? And he does want what's best for her, then it's time for him to step aside and let her go. Right? Because the shit you've been feeding her, along with your lack of knowledge as a trainer, has not been good for her whatsoever. If anything, it's been toxic. It put her in an illusion that she was this unstoppable force. So when she was stopped by an immovable object that was Holly Holm, apparently, right, it crushed her world, right? I mean, she at that moment, she realized everything was a lie, right? And she wanted to kill herself. Her own words. Her trainer was out there saying with like confidence, oh, Ronda Rousey could go right now and knock out the women's world champion in boxing right now if she wanted to, right? There's stuff like that. She could be the best boxer, female boxer I've ever seen. That's what her trainer was saying. Her trainer actually trained Victor Archinian, by the way, for those that don't know. So he is a boxing trainer. Now, number one, if you're a boxing trainer, how are you the head honcho of a whole MMA thing when there's other is beyond me. But make no mistake about it, this guy's boxing IQ is definitely not very high if he believes Ronda Rousey, at one point believed Ronda Rousey had the best boxing skills of any female fighter he ever seen, right? Which explains a lot. It explains the game plan versus Holly Holm, right? And it explained the game plan against Nunes last night. What the fuck was that? What the hell was that? Just boxing 101, right? I mean, forget like the stuff like head movement and all that, but when you rush towards somebody, right? When they hit you, there's going to be more force in that punch if you're coming towards the punch, right? That's just basic science, right? But aside from that, I mean, there was times I saw Ronda Rousey, right, standing straight up, chin in the air, shoulders squared, her body not bladed whatsoever, not in a fighting stance. She looked completely lost, right? And when you're watching the fight live, those moments go by quick, right? But there's still shots of it. That's embarrassing, right? That is embarrassing. And the reason that happened was because she, again, was put into an illusion that wasn't true, right? Her trainer fed in her mind, okay, that she has the best boxing skills he's ever seen in any female ever. And she bought it. She believed him, right? That's the truth. Just look at the game plan against Holly Holm. So you tell me you're going to go in a fight with Holly Holm, who, by all accounts, you already know was a kickboxer at one point and a professional boxer, was a world champion boxer, right? But has no grappling background whatsoever. Her only grappling experience, okay, is in the Jackson's gym. That's it. Okay? And you're telling me that your game plan was to strike with her? Look, obviously I would be a terrible MMA trainer because I just would, all right? But honestly, anything other than box Holly Holm would have worked better against Holly Holm. It's just, you would think. And not only did he like have her strike with Holly, I mean, that's bad enough, right? But the way in which he had Rousey attack Holm was ridiculous, right? I mean, here you are with someone who's a very good counterpuncher, and you're going to have her be aggressive. I mean, I've never seen Holly Holm land right hands like that ever in boxing or MMA, right? And the reason those right hands looked vicious in that fight was because most of the force was coming from Rousey herself. She was charging in. She was coming in head first. All Holly had to do was land a crisp shot. That's it. Nice crispy shot down the pipe. Bam! Shot looked devastating. If that's the first time you saw Holly Holm fight, you would think she's a fucking knockout artist. And she's not. Right? So this is the problem. Nunes, same thing. So you go in with a girl now. Now this is a girl that has power. Well, yeah, of course it ended sooner. Right? She didn't know what to do. The first jab that landed, she had no idea. Rousey was lost. She didn't know what to do. Right? She started fighting just instinctively. She got into this brawl mode that was not fighting calculation. So you're telling me you are a world-class judoka, right? And from the opening bell, your game plan is not revolved around that, right? Now, no one is saying, hey, look, I'm sure this guy has helped her, get better hands and stuff. And there's some fights where it worked out for them, right? She knocked out some girls, right? That did happen. But it's one thing to say, hey, I'm going to work on my hands because, I want to be decent at it. It's another thing to say, I'm going to totally abandon everything that got me here because I think that I'm a world-class striker now. Rousey was never a world-class striker, and she never will be. She never will be. She can improve, but that's it. Right? I mean, just look at the difference in her game plan and Miesha Tate's game plan against Holly Holm. All right? I've seen that Miesha Tate-Holly Holm fight several times. And it was evident. It was clear to see that Holly's a much better striker. Right? But Miesha Tate was playing the patient game. She was waiting for her moment to take Holly Holm down. She even knew she was going to be losing on the scorecards. But she knew she had to take her down because she knew her grappling was far better than Holly's. Right? And it paid off for her. Right? In the very last round, but it paid off. So how can Ronda Rousey find redemption here? Look, first of all, I don't know if she'll ever get the title back. I doubt it. If Ronda Rousey somehow becomes women's champion in the UFC again, that would be the biggest comeback story, one of the biggest comeback stories ever, right? But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Let me hang up this call because I'll have to call him back in a little bit. Shut up! There we go. All right, so really quick, because I got to go. I'm going to start my New Year's Eve early, all right? So I'm getting ready. And I got to get ready, but real quick. So what's the redemption here for Ronda Rousey? So really simple, right? Redemption isn't always like, oh, I'm going to reach the top again, right? If she wants to find redemption, the first thing she has to do is humble herself. That's number one, right? So what do I mean by that? That means humble herself and seek out a better MMA gym where you're going to get better sparring. We're going to have a lot of world-class teammates around you that you can learn from, male and female, right? Work on your craft and get that confidence back. Getting her spirit back. That's all she could do, right? And let me tell you this right now. All the enablers out there, all the people saying, stop, leave her alone. Mental health is real serious, blah, 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 blah. Look, man, I get it. And I don't think people even realize that they're doing it, okay? But a lot of you just feel sorry for her because they're clowning her and she's a female, all right? That's what it is, okay? And it's just instinctively. A lot of people are doing this. Leave her alone, man. This is real serious, man. Like, I didn't see anybody feeling sorry for Adrian Broner. I clowned it. Everybody clowned Adrian Broner, right? Let me turn off this phone. God damn, they're bothering me, right? But you guys remember Adrian Broner against the ropes, right? And they had like Rey Mysterio doing the 619 on him and shit. It was funny, right? They do it to the guys too. So here's the thing. If you want women in combat sports, this is part of it. Right? You know when they said, hey, be careful what you ask for, because, when they said it's a brutal sport, they weren't just talking about the physicality of it in the octagon or the boxing ring. They're talking about the after effects, right? And my thing, the best advice anyone can give Ronda Rousey right now is fuck the haters, right? You just go, you keep working your ass off, right? Right? Go to a gym, get a better trainer, improve as a fighter, right? And just come back and keep fighting, right? You're a millionaire. Well, what are you worried about? Right? That's the best advice anyone could give her. Right? That's the best advice anyone can give Ronda Rousey. Right? A redemption story for Ronda Rousey would be, number one, to humble herself, show that she could become a better person, a better sportsman, all right? And, stop not shaking the opponent's hands after fights and stuff like that. And also, I hate to say it, but learning how to lose with grace and learning how to lose with dignity. Because the way she lost and the way she acted after her losses was terrible. And I'll end it with this. So when I was a kid, right, I don't know how many of you remember, the first time you learned how to ride a bike and the training wheels had to come off. Okay, I was a little D-style, little run. I remember the first time I fell from my bike, and it was a hard fall too. It was a pretty hard fall, right? Like I hit the curb like on the side of my hip and shit, and it fucking hurt. Right? I didn't get injured or anything like that, but my grandfather told me, get on the bike now. And I did, part of me, like I was scared to get back on. I just fucking fell, right? I was a little kid. He said, get on the fucking bike. He didn't say fucking, but, and it was in Spanish, of course. Súbete en la bicicleta, ahorita, súbete. Right? He wanted me to get back on the bike quick. Get on the bike now. And I did. I got back on the bike, right? And the reason he had me do that right away, everybody knows this. He didn't want me to be scared of a little kid for the rest of my life, right? I mean, obviously, I would probably eventually learn or whatever, but it's a life lesson, And Rousey, as soon as she got knocked out, went into hiding. Okay, when what you're supposed to do after a loss is get back in the fucking ring, right? You think it was easy for Manny Pacquiao when he got knocked the fuck out by Marquez? You think that was easy to take that knockout? It wasn't, but guess what he did? He got back in the ring right away too. Right? He got back in the saddle. Same thing with horses. You fall off a horse, you get back on quick. Right? You go dirt biking, you fall, get back on quick. You get back on, you keep riding. If you prolong it, if you fall off a fucking horse and you don't get back on, you're going to be scared of getting on a horse for the rest of your life. It's going to be harder to overcome that fear. So you got to do it quick. And that was her mistake. That was her mistake, and that's a trainer's mistake, right? She should have, and you could also say, well, she didn't have the mental capacity to do that and this, that, and the third. And if she doesn't, then she's just not made for this. Fighting is it for everybody. And being a fighter is more than physical talent. It's more than that. There's a mental aspect to fighting. And if she doesn't have that mental aspect, then she's not made for it. Hell, she might be like the female version of Victor Ortiz. If you think about it, really. But anyway, I'm out, guys. Happy New Year. Drive safe.